Cub fans, how about that dub? And nonetheless, from somebody that we needed it from the most, Edward Cabrera shows up in a big way. We got it all covered, and I got my man, my homie MB with me tonight on the pod. We're going to talk about it all right after this. Cub fans, Cub fans, Cub fans, welcome into another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, your number one spot for all things Chicago Cubs. Guys, listen, I appreciate each and every last one of you guys so much that are tuning in to our daily episodes. Yes, we are the Chicago Cubs podcast that does daily episodes. So make sure that you like, share, and subscribe so that you never miss any of the Cubs content coming right here from the channel. With that being said, guys, make sure that you guys watch every single Cubs game. And hey, if you can't watch the games, make sure that you join in over here on the channel so that you catch up on all the information. Also, if you guys haven't already, joined the Chicago Cubs Central Facebook group. We have more than two subscribers in there, I promise you. But join the Facebook group, Chicago Cubs Central. All you got to do is type in Chicago Cubs Central on Facebook. I am on there. We are constantly on there sharing content as well as talking about our Chicago Cubs. All you got to do is type in Chicago Cubs Central. Join the Facebook group today. Last but not least, y'all, I am honored to have one of my young boys on the pod with me, hanging out, my man, MB. How's it going, brother? Welcome in to Chicago Cubs Central.
What's going on? How are you?
Oh, man, I'm blessed, highly favored, brother. Just chilling, man. Super excited about this Chicago Cubs dub. Me and you connected recently, and we were talking about the Chicago Cubs, and I told you about, the channel and everything like that, and we linked in, like I said, on Instagram, and you were like, dude, you gotta let me come on sometime, man. And I'm excited to have you on, brother, to talk some Chicago Cubs baseball with me. So I want to start off by asking you, obviously the Chicago Cubs beat the Los Angeles Angels 7-2. Edward Cabrera looked dominant. Colin Ray got the save. Another home run for Ian Happ, who is on a heater to start the season. For you, what was the biggest takeaway of the game so far? What did you notice the most?
Honestly, I not really just this game, but Ian Happ's performance this year so far. He's just been very dominant, and he's got the hot hand right now. So, yeah. I'm very impressed with how Ian Happ's been playing. Edward Cabrera, I mean, Owen Casey, we kind of talked about it. Owen Casey's been doing his thing with the Marlins, and Edward Cabrera really had to show up tonight, to prove he's the winner in that trade. And it was just overall a good win. Everything really looked pretty solid.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say I want to walk back a statement that you made. First and foremost, I want to look at Ian Happ's performance, because that really is a big story. Ian Happ, after watching Nico Hoerner get his extension, after watching PCA get his extension, is probably somewhere looking like, well, where's the love? Where's the love? You extended PCA, and he doesn't have. You still had years of team control, but you wanted to lock down PCA now, but you haven't given me a contract yet.
Yeah.
You look at Nico Hoerner; they had to get the Nico Hoerner deal done. But Ian Happ, this is his third home run this season so far, and he really should have 4. Ian Happ is on a heater right now, and he has just been performing at another level, batting third in that lineup. Today, he did go 1 for 4, 2 runs scored, a home run, a RBI. He is at 235 on the season so far. So like I said, it's just been one of those things, man. It's been refreshing to see what Ian Happ has been able to do, especially in a contract year. It's just a big deal to be able to have somebody like that hitting third in the lineup. And I'm not gonna lie to you, I was not impressed when Craig Counsell originally announced that Ian Happ was going to be hitting third in the lineup. I really questioned it, and I questioned it in the loss that the Cubs had too. The first loss, though, that while Ian Happ was hitting so early in the lineup above other guys. But yeah, man, I mean, like I said, to your point, I think Ian Happ being able to provide this home run power, especially missing Seiya Suzuki, I think is really, really huge for the team.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely.
Yeah, it's one of those things, like I said, that we're going to have to continue to look out for. What about Dansby Swanson in today's game? He went 2 for 3 in today's game and had an RBI. I think a lot of people are asleep on Dansby because he's hitting so far back in the lineup, but at the same time, Dansby was able to get some good hits today for the team. We got a Matt Shaw sighting also. After Michael Conforto went 0 for 2, they subbed in Matt Shaw, let him pinch hit and hit in the right field and play right field. And he also got a nice base knock too. Because of that, he went 1 for 2 in the game. What did you think about those two performances?
Yeah, so I went to the game Friday, their first win of the season, and
Yeah, yeah.
honestly, Ian or excuse me, Dansby Swanson, he didn't look that hot, and honestly, he hasn't really done much since this game. So this was really a step up game for him, and hopefully, this is kind of a wake up call for the series coming or the series, so and just upcoming games and. Now with Matt Shaw, I was actually kind of thinking about this before I hopped on here.
Right.
The outfield's been looking pretty good, but one thing that I have realized is right field has been struggling a little bit with the bat.
Yeah.
So, and I know it's with Seiya not being there, it's gonna. I mean, it's gonna look a little different, but.
Sure.
I didn't mind the Conforto signing, but I'm ready to see Matt Shaw step up to secure a spot on the team.
Okay.
Yeah, I think Matt Shaw's knock was very much needed for him, so
Yeah.
he could even keep. I mean, it's still early in the season, but I mean, who knows? He could be fighting to keep a spot. So
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah.
I look at Matt Shaw, and we've talked about this a few times on the podcast. With these players being signed, especially the Nico Horner extension, that makes Matt Shaw even more expendable. Like I
Yeah.
said, because you can go get somebody to sit on the bench and sub in here and there and play right field or play all around the field or play around the diamond and stuff like that. But you're not signing that type of person to the type of deal that Matt Shaw is eventually going to want.
Yeah.
So you look at that and you say to yourself, well, that makes him expendable for the Cubs, especially if the Cubs need pitching. Let's just say on the off chance the Cubs need to do some retooling in their bullpen, or let's say the Cubs need to need to go out and get another power hitter or something like that because somebody goes down with injury. You look at that and you say to yourself, well, then, yeah, I mean, Matt Shaw becomes very expendable because you now have Nico Horner locked in for 6 years. That second base spot ain't going nowhere. You still got multiple years with Dansby Swanson, like you said. So
Mhm.
Matt Shaw right now is once again putting on a show, like a showcase, I always call it, because he's showing what he can do for other teams to potentially be able to get a look at him. And I do think the Cubs do end up trading him. I mean, I just foresee that happening.
I agree.
You heard it here first. Like I said, I do think it either happened at deadline or in the off season. They probably should have traded him after this last past season because they probably would have got more for him this last past off season, especially if they're just using him as a super utility guy this season. You're kind of taking down his value a little bit, I think, by just having them do that. But for the time being, especially with the news, which we'll get into towards the end of the pod, um, that Seiya Suzuki might be out a little bit longer than we originally thought. Matt Shaw absolutely should get more time out there in right field than Michael Conforto. I don't understand why Michael Conforto was out there tonight instead of Matt Shaw. Like I said, I thought Matt Shaw looked fared well in his debut on Thursday, playing out there in right field. I didn't think that had a bad game or anything like that. I mean, again, and Michael Conforto's bat isn't bringing you anything that's like, oh, I gotta have him in the lineup or I gotta have him hitting or something like that. So yeah, I'm very curious with you about what happens with Matt Shaw. But I mean, I think he gets traded. Do you think he gets traded?
Um, y- uh, it's one of those things. Like I want to say yes, but you know, um, this is only the fourth game of the season. So it's like I don't know. So I'm just not sure. I go with yeah, probably. I honestly I don't see why they shouldn't look into it. So yeah,
Yeah. I mean, again, he just becomes expendable when you start looking at the other needs that the team have, especially if the goal is to win a World Series. These
yeah,
guys have put the onus on themselves as a team after last year to talk about they need to, win a World Series. They need to right the wrong against the Brewers. They need to win the division. And like I said, and many of them have talked about wanting to win the World Series. So when you start looking at it like that, you start saying to yourself, okay, well, we got to figure something out here, you know?
yeah.
So
I
I
agree.
mean that's just the business part of things. No diss to Matt Shaw, but he becomes very expendable once you start looking at other areas the team may need that will take them further into the postseason.
Yeah. I was gonna go ahead and say you were talking about maybe trading Matt Shaw on the offseason. I also 100% agree because I go back to last season and I remember the Cubs really struggled in the second half of the season. And I remember when Matt Shaw really stepped up and he had a pretty solid second
Mhm.
half to the season. I mean, I'm pretty sure pretty much all of his home runs came on the second half of the season. And
Correct.
once that Bregman trade happened, I was honestly waiting for it to happen day to day, but it just never did. And then a couple of days or weeks later, they're talking about utility, and so it was just one of those things. But I agree that they probably should have, if they were going to do it, they should have done it on the off season.
Yeah, that might be one. Unless he heats up really well, that might be one that Craig regret. I mean, sorry, not Craig. That Jed regrets not making that trade last
Mhm.
year, where he could have potentially gotten more for him. But I mean, at the same time, I mean, I guess thank God that they kept Matt Shaw for the time being right now and didn't trade him because, like I said, I mean Seiya Suzuki is looking like he's going to be out just a little bit longer than what we originally expected. Craig Counsell gave an interview where he talked about the fact that just Seiya Suzuki probably is going to need a little bit more time on the IL before he's ready to return to the team. The original thought was by the time the team went on the road, which they're heading on the road this weekend to go against the Cleveland Guardians this weekend, Easter weekend. The thought process was he would join the team sometime on this road trip.
Yeah.
Now we are getting word that it might be towards the end of the month that you end up seeing Seiya Suzuki versus seeing him at the beginning of this up and coming month as we turn into April on Wednesday, which is unfortunate. Like I said, because the Chicago Cubs, while they were able to take advantage tonight of the Angels, while we saw them beat the Nationals on Saturday, and those two games weren't even close, really. There are also the other games where they need that spark and they need somebody to come out and to give them that home run power if PCA is struggling or if Ian Happ is struggling or if Michael Bush is struggling. And you really need somebody with that home run power. I think Seiya Suzuki hitting third changes the whole trajectory of this Chicago Cubs hitting lineup. And like I said, with him gone, that really, really, really hinders the team.
Yeah. I agree.
So, like I said, it's unfortunate that he's gonna be out. But again, like I said, the Chicago Cubs have to move forward. They have to continue on playing because they have two games coming up, two more against the national. I'm sorry, against the Angels. We will see these same Angels tomorrow at 6:40 p.m. Let's get you ready for tomorrow's game. Tomorrow's game, Jameson Taillon takes the bump for the Chicago Cubs, and he goes up against Jose Soriano. Jose Soriano has already marked one win for the Angels. Meanwhile, Jameson Taillon, this will be his debut for the Chicago Cubs. Taillon did not look great when it came to spring training. I am very concerned about this game. This is a game that could very well be a sleeper game, and the Cubs could drop if, let's say, Taillon gives up a home run to Trout or a home run to Moncada, or just gives up a bunch of runs to the Angels, and the Chicago Cubs don't have their hitters. Their hitters don't have their best stuff. What do you think about tomorrow's matchup? What are you looking for?
I'm honestly, I'm just looking for JMO to just come out there and dominate, because, like you said, and I watched a few spring training games, and I think all of them were when he pitched. And you're right, he just didn't look good. I remember the White Sox game. He looked terrible, and honestly, it was like one of those things that was hard for me. It just kind of sucked, but I was also happy inside because actually a Springfield native hit a home run off of him, so that was a little cool. But yeah, I'm just excited for just him to come out and, just dominate, because I know how he can pitch. I mean, we saw it. He looked pretty solid in the playoffs last year.
Yep.
And he's just one of those guys. And I mean, we haven't seen him yet, but he can be hit or miss. So we could get the good JMO tomorrow, or we could get a really bad JMO tomorrow. So I guess we'll just kind of see.
Absolutely. And my pick to perform player of the game for tomorrow, why not? He already has 3 home runs, a 235 batting average, 5 RBIs on the season, leading the team in home runs and RBIs. Why not say Ian Happ is going to have himself another home run tomorrow and maybe collect 2 ribbies in tomorrow's game? So my pick to perform player of the game for Tuesday is Ian Happ. Now watch. He goes 0 for 5 tomorrow just because I picked him.
Yeah, right.
So we'll have to see what happens with that. But hey, listen, MB, do you have any final thoughts on the Chicago Cubs this season so far, what you've seen?
Honestly, not really. I'm just I'm really hoping the starting pitchers kind of figure stuff out, because I haven't really been too impressed with the starting pitchers, except for Edward Cabrera.
Right.
I'm waiting for kind of the home run hitting to get going. We haven't really seen much from that, except for, our guy Ian Happ.
Ian Happ and Breggy has 2. Ian Happ has 3.
Yeah. So. And one thing I do want to add on real quick, I want to see Miguel Amaya more too.
More Miguel Amaya, less Carson Kelly. I like that. Actually, I like that. That's a really good take, because that might need to happen. I think Miggy is a better hitter and deserves more time than Carson. I think Carson had a decent season last year, but Miguel Amaya early on has shown you what he can do behind the dish and also at the plate too. So I mean, I don't hate that take at all. I think that's a fairly good take.
Yeah. And one thing I really like about Amaya was, I mean, he suffered through a lot of injuries.
Yeah.
I felt really bad for the guy, but, just kind of keeping, his status during the off season. I know he really worked hard, and, seeing him live and seeing him hit that home run, he just looked like a good ball player. And I mean, he was interacting with the fan. He looked happy to be there. He just looked happy to be back on the field. So I'd like to see more of him. I don't mind Carson Kelly. I think he had a good year last year. I just he's kind of shaky, and Miguel Amaya is a lot younger, and I think has a lot more. I mean, he has a lot more future coming up. So I'd like to see him on the field more. So yeah,
Absolutely. And Moises Ballesteros will get a few chances to catch this year too.
yeah, and
So like I said, it'll be interesting to see what the Chicago Cubs do with Carson Kelly. He's on year 2 of his deal. Probably won't sign him back after this year. And they'll probably move forward with Miguel Amaya. MB, listen, I'll tell you what, this has been a lot of fun. I appreciate you, man, for coming on and for giving me your thoughts and takes on the Chicago Cubs, especially celebrating after a victory. And you know what? I don't ever forget. Whenever the Chicago Cubs win, we got to fly that W, baby. That's right. Fly that W flag. Go Cubs, go, baby. Like I said, we are going to celebrate every Chicago Cubs W all season long right here on Chicago Cubs Central. From me, your host, Mike Jones, from MB, your guest host for this episode. We appreciate you guys so much. Make sure that you like, share, and subscribe. And until next time, go Cubs, go. Peace.
Thank you for watching another episode of Chicago Cubs Central, the #1 spot for all Chicago Cubs content. Remember to like, share, subscribe for more Cubs content.